I mentioned that John Bizignano is down in the pits, and right now I'm surprised that John is able to keep both feet on the ground in the winds we're dealing with out there. John, what have you got for us?
I was just talking to Chris Farrell, the driver of the beautiful 58 car here who's on pole position, and he was describing to me about these cars are all about aerodynamics, very sophisticated aerodynamics, and in this wind you can change your downforce on the car by several hundred pounds, but depending on which way the wind is blowing. If it's coming from the rear, of course, you lose downforce on the front. That means the steering goes slack. Coming from the side, you lose downforce all the way across the top of the car, and the whole car gets light. And if it's right on your nose, it's going to slow you down the straightaway, but you're going to get a lot more downforce on the front. That's going to help the steering, but then the back tires are going to be a little bit loose. That's going to give you some oversteer. He wishes that there were flags all around the track so that he could adjust his driving to the way the aerodynamics is being affected by the wind. He hates the crosswinds the most because that's when he says everything goes a little bit light. That can't be fun, guys.
No, I would think not. And these are arguably some of the most aero-dependent cars here. It's serious ground effects technology running either a 1,000cc normally aspirated motorcycle engine or a 600cc turbo. Not a lot of running the turbos because they tend to be very fast, but reliability seems to be a little bit of an issue. But the interesting thing, you saw that shot of Farrell's car as we get to, well, there's an indication of how strong the winds are today. A shot of Farrell's car, and aside from the decals, it's all carbon fiber, and the reason is when you ask those guys, they go, hey, man, paint weighs a lot.
Oh, it does.
That's the level they're operating at in this class.
Well, 900 pounds with driver, and they've been struggling to hit that. Some of the new neat technologies that have come out of it so far is actually have dry cell batteries, where a normal battery you'd use for a car like this would be about 13 pounds. They're getting them down to below 2 pounds.
Unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. In this wind, they'd blow out of the car if they weren't strapped down.
And it's interesting, we were talking to Farrell is essentially the lead development driver for the store chassis, and that's really become the chassis of note in this category. And you can see last year's champion, Gary Crook, won it in a store, and there you see the pick is Chris Farrell, but a little bit more on these cars in particular.
Oh, absolutely. These are full-bodied, open cockpit cars, purpose-built, so they didn't start off as something else. These were made just for racing, and they are absolutely amazing. The change of direction they do, the downforce, they even have tunnels underneath. I had an opportunity to talk to Matt Cutter. He's warming up his motor when I was coming over here, and I said, with these winds, what do you do? Do you lower the car? Because in S2s, we don't have tunnels. He said, well, if you lower it too much, then you cut out the underside tunnels. So very, very aerodependent.
Yeah, no, well, they absolutely are, and obviously that's the thing that John was talking about is you get those massive changes of downforce depending upon the wind direction, the wind flow that you're coming through, and it can, obviously you get a tailwind, you're going to pick up a lot of speed, but boy, when you get to that corner at the end of it, it's going to be interesting. Conversely, you got that headwind, you're going to have all that drag, you're going to be slow, but man, you're going to be able to go deep into that corner and get through it. So, a bit of a balancing act, I would think, in these conditions.
Boy, and these drivers, too, are just right on the edge of adhesion. If you could actually go into the middle of the carousel halfway through it and just push on the back part of the car, it would spin out. They are that edge right there. So you can imagine some of these wind gusts, 20, 30 miles an hour, moving that car around. It's going to be a handful.
Absolutely. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Interesting sidebar is I talked to Lawrence Loshak, who qualified second. And he was actually running, he was pretty excited about the weather and stuff like that. He was running with a little bit more downforce. And he thinks, as the race goes on and tires get a little more heated up, he seems pretty confident that might help him.
That's going to be interesting. He's a great story. He started off, he did a lot of ice racing. We were talking about that, and that's, where he got started and everything. And he's a former national champion in E-production driving an Acura. Or a Prelude, I think it was. It was a front drive car, about as different from this as you could get. And he got to the point where he was constantly in the front in that class all the time. And he said, I want to do something different. Well, these guys were just starting to really hit their development cycle. And he said, that's where I want to go. And he has really put everything in to trying to make this package work. I was going to talk a little bit about that. We were talking about Farrell being the development driver for Store. Wayne Felch with Store. They've done some work on it. They got new front upright that they say reduces the steering effort and improves the feedback. And with ground effects tunnels, that steering load can be immense. So anything you could do to help that's a big deal. But they've done some work with aerodynamic development that's been based on track testing with their data systems that are unbelievable. And George Dean Racing Engines build the engines that run in this car. And it seems to me, Bart, that, you look at the list, the Suzuki GSX 1000R engine seems to be the engine of choice. There's just a couple guys running something else, but that seems to be the package that everybody thinks right now is the strongest engine.
And yeah, racers are pretty smart. They're going to look around, they're going to see what's winning, and obviously that seems to be the motor of choice right now. They did have some oiling problems with it, and one of the interesting things to racing is they've developed some different oil pans to keep the G loading and stuff. The oil was leaving the scavenge. So I know Loshak and a couple of the other guys were really, really working on developing that, and they've gotten a lot of dependability and reliability out of these motors now, whereas years past they would stock 4 to 5 motors.
Right.
Through the test week.
Well, that tells you something about the performance capability, doesn't it? When you're having the oil pile up in the side of the engine to the point that it's not lubing the stuff. That is some serious G loading through the corners, as you pointed out. The other interesting story is Westcars, which it's a long, convoluted story how Westcars came to be existence from Store originally, and then they kind of split apart, and all this going on. But the basic end of it is the Store recently moved to Atlanta, Georgia, and they've got a driver named Garrett Kletchian, and he took second in the June sprints, and they have done a tremendous amount. And Eric Vassian of Westcars have used CFD, computational fluid dynamics, to do a lot of aero development, and they've been doing a lot of work on the Olin Shaker rig, and they have even planned visits to the Aerodyne wind tunnel before they came here. Club racing. And you're listening to this level of intensity of what's unfolding here is just unbelievable.
Well, you obviously remember back, but it wasn't too long ago that a 2-minute lap at Road America was really something phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was reserved for 700-800 horsepower cars.
Yep.
And now if you look at the qualifying times, and we've got a new track record, and they're down to 2:02s.
Yeah, it's just
and this isn't even
staggering.
the fastest sport racing class out there yet.
But it's close. That's for sure, man.
They're right there.
What they're doing is just unbelievable. Let's take a look at the starting lineup as the cars head out onto the track. We talked about the fact that Chris Farrell is on pole, and Chris Farrell, by the way, is a driver that is eligible for what is being called the Super Sweep Award. And what has happened is there are four different requirements that you have to be able to achieve this. One, you have to win your divisional championship. 2, you have to win one of 9 key national events, and there's one staged in each of the 9 divisions. The one for Central Division would be the sprints right here at Road America. You've just got to win one of those. You can go out of division to do it, but you have to win it. Then there is a national computation of points that gives a national point standings. You have to win that in your category, and then you have to win the runoffs. So it is one of the hardest things you can imagine doing, and Farrell is in line to do it. And the reason is he won the sprints. He also won his division with 7 wins in 7 starts. It's a pretty good percentage.
Not too shabby.
Yeah, he's doing okay. And so he's going to be somebody. But here's the key. You were talking about this guy, Lawrence Loshak, the 02 out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the ETE and Supercycle KWS store. He is on the second row or the second position on the grid, 29 one-thousandths of a second off of Farrell's time. Doesn't get a whole lot closer than that. So we've got the potential here for an absolutely superb race. On the second row, the inside 0 is Mike Scully out of Calabasas, California, driving the Slingshot Dauntless Store WF, and he too won his division. That would be the Southern Pacific Division with 2 wins and a bunch of podiums. Then the 0-1 of Garrett Kletchian, who I was talking about from Hingham, Mass., who won the Northeastern Division with 3 wins and 6 podium finishes. And the interesting story here is the guy starting in 5th, the 76 of Jason Barfield out of Granville, Ohio. He won the Southeastern Division with 4 wins in his KWS store. That store is the one that Crook took to the national championship last year, and did it in such interesting form after he had some issues, dropped in the pack, came auguring back up through the pack. So this car, is well sorted, and it can get the job done. Starting 6th will be the 36 of Tom Boots out of Evansville, Indiana. He drives the Boots Industries Realtech store, and he had himself a pretty good season as well, with a win in the Midwestern Division with 2 wins in the mix. Starting in the 7th spot, number 5, Jake Latham out of Fort Collins, Colorado, the SCR Performance store, 2nd in the Rocky Mountain Division. Starting in the 8th spot, the number 85 of Charles Dempsey out of Brooksville, Florida. He drives the MD Rehab Medicine store in the Southeastern Division. He was 3rd there, but he did get a couple of wins. Row 5, starting 9th, the number 82 of Henry Botkin out of Jamul, California. He drives the C2Racers.com entry. and he runs the Southern Pacific Division, where he was third with 3 podiums. 10th, number 23, is Lee Alexander out of Pahrump, Nevada, on the APE race parts machine, where he second in the Southern Pacific Division, where he had a couple of wins. Starting 11th, this is a good story, too, the number 21 of John Stoddaker out of Kakalawin, Michigan, is Hoosier. It's a car of his own design. And remember, these classes, the CSR, the DSR category, even you go back in the days, A sports racing and B sports racing, a lot of home engineering was the whole concept by this. A guy could build a car and go out and run. Well, you got the stores, you got the Western now pretty much de-rigger, and that's what you've got to do. But John Stoddaker said, no. And he's built himself a Stoddaker S08 and continues to run it. And he ended up winning the Great Lakes Division with 4 wins this year. So watch him. Number 4, R.J. Gardner out of Newark, Delaware, the Taggart Performance Engineering store. Third in the Northeastern Division. Starting in the 13th spot, 64, Jim Hallman in his store. We had a win in the Southeastern Division this year. Starting in the 14th spot, 24, Matt Cutler out of Sterling, Illinois. Blackhawk Valley is his region. Sendiv is his division. Driving a Prince, another of the chassis manufacturers in this category. A very different look from the stores. He had a couple of podiums this year. Starting 15th, number 78, Dave Knack out of Neenah, Wisconsin. I love this sponsor, Underwear Gnomes. I'm not exactly sure what that is.
You don't want to know.
Yeah, the websites are flashing, though, right now. 6th in the Central Division in his store. Starting 16th, 04, Brian Lindstrom in the LMI and HRP Goodyear tired Prince, also 4th incentive this year. Starting 17th, this is one of those guys who has raced this class forever, and he is just and he always on the back of his car, whatever he gets, he's got thanks workers on the back of it. He truly is what SCCA is all about. A guy named Richard Colburn from Northbrook, Illinois, in the Amari Metals entry. He's running a one-off chassis called the Nostendo. He runs out of Sendiv. He did get a win this year. 18th in the starting order is 09, Bob Wayless out of Reidsville, North Carolina, in the Viper KWS store. He was 5th in the Southeastern Division, but did have a win. And then the 10th row, number 43, James Coons, will start 19th in the Bill Yates. He's got a Zephyrus Mark IV, another unique chassis, and the 47 of Sherry Dowling out of Nokomis, Florida, the Dowling brothers entry. And it is an old Beasley chassis, if you remember those from a few years ago when Dad and the brothers Beasley were the guys to beat in the C and D sports racing categories.
You know, it's amazing to look at. 8 years ago, that was state-of-the-art car. That was actually winning races, and it's still a beautiful car, as you can see.
The lines on that are just phenomenal. It's just an absolutely glorious-looking package. And that, to me, you look at the stores, you look at the West, you look at those cars, they look effective. I don't know that I'd ever call them pretty, but they look effective. Some of those older cars, the lines on them are just glorious.
Absolutely.
Do they produce the Aero? No.
There's no ugly car in victory lane.
Well, when you get to that point, you are absolutely right. And we're about to find out just which one of those cars in that regard is prettiest, because we got a national championship about to unfold. D Sports Racing, as they head up the hill, the pace car is in. Pole sitter Chris Farrell, local favorite Lawrence Loshak, the front row. Here we go, watching the starter. We're green. We are racing for a national championship in D Sports Racing. Farrell to the inside in that black carbon fiber chassis car, and Loshak, the red car, the trim on it, still a lot of carbon fiber. Right behind him comes Scully, but it's from the outside, and Loshak using that downforce to good effect. We had to have 3, 4, 5 cars off, and a bunch of them were able to continue. One of them might be still off to the outside, but we got one there on the gravel. Wow, that could have been a lot worse than it was.
Well, the nice one is closed wheels. They can bump a little bit and get away with a little bit more. And these guys are definitely going after it. This is going to be a phenomenal race.
But you had talked about it, that Loshak had mentioned he had a little bit more downforce in the car, and used that to good effect to be able to run around the outside. Now we'll see what Chris Farrell can do. Again, separated by 29 one-thousandths of a second in qualifying. However, Farrell's came on Monday, and Loshak's came on Wednesday, so 2 very different days, but they were able to run that close. Well, I think we might be in for a spectacular show here.
Oh, absolutely. And I know Loshak and his crew was working hard late into the night last night. They actually came over and borrowed some lights, so they've gone over every inch of this car, and they're going to give him everything they can.
Boy, he has wasted no time, is he? And, of course, cold tires, even scrubbing and everything on the pace lap, cold tires, and if you don't have much downforce, it's going to take longer for those tires to come in. Loshak, obviously, with a little more downforce, tires will come up to temp quicker, the pressures, he can hammer it quicker, right?
Oh, absolutely. And then the other thing we don't know, the unknown, is what tire choices they went with. Again, today being a little bit cooler and Loshak's on a little bit softer tire, that might fade towards the end of the race, where Farrell might be on a little bit harder tire and he's going to be there at the end. So keep an eye out for that.
Well, Loshak obviously trying to make good his escape right now. Whatever the story, he wants to have a margin built up as fast as he can. So up the hill he comes to complete lap 1, and he definitely has opened up a pretty significant margin over Farrell at this point. Loshak comes through lap 1 in the books. Let's see what we've got. A 2:07, and that's with a slow pace lap. A 2:09 for Farrell, so that's the margin you see for Loshak. Scully sits third. Latham up into fourth. Barfield is fifth. Boots, and the guy who's dropping down the order is Kletchian, so that must have been Kletchian that is off to the left there, still in the gravel. Oh, that's an unfortunate development for somebody who is really carrying the banner for the West chassis here.
Oh, absolutely. He's got to be disappointed. You try so hard. It's such a fine line going into one of how far you can push it. And, you know, when everything's on the line, you really go for it. You just came up a bit short.
Well, you didn't come here to take second. You know, I mean, ultimately, you give it everything you can. There's no racing after this in terms of a national level competition. And as we said earlier when we were on, you got all winter to fix it. So you put the effort in. Do you see what I?
Yeah, I was just seeing a little bit of smoke off of Loshak's car, and I'm not sure if it's exhaust or what, but it looks like under hard acceleration. Hopefully, it's nothing at all.
Oh yeah, that looks like it's out of the pipe. That's not good.
Hopefully, it's just to the side of the pipe, and it might be a breather. Sometimes you top off the water, and as it gets warmer, it starts expanding, and some of that's going to come out. Hopefully, that's all we're seeing.
Well, it's cold enough out there that anything that's going to produce steam is going to be pretty evident out here. So, as you said, hopefully it isn't something that's major, certainly from his perspective on the cruise, down into Canada Corner. And their speeds through here are impressive enough, but I'll tell you what, you watch these guys, as you said, running through the kink and, the carousel and then the kink. It's just unbelievable how fast they go through there.
And I watched some of their last laps in qualifying, and it's really interesting. With the tunnels and the downforce, these things created high speeds. They really, really have to be sprung heavy. So you look at them in the slow speed corners where the aero isn't taking as much effect, and boy, those things ride rough. I'd have to wear a bra and a girdle to be driving one of these.
I'm not sure that's an image a lot of the viewers are interested in having in their heads right now. So just focus on how pretty these cars are. And look at this. We've got Scully has closed it up a little bit on Farrell. Manbra? Really?
And Scully used to be an S2 driver. He's really, really a stout driver and doing well with this car. He's still working on developing it, but definitely going to be in the hunt.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely is hustling it around. I was fortunate earlier in the week. I went out and just worked corners for a couple of days just to get a good look at the cars and have some fun with some friends. And it was pretty impressive watching that. And there is the car on the hook of, I believe that's Kletchian. And that is really, really unfortunate to see. Actually, this might be Kletchian. So there were two cars. One had stopped on that concrete, the other one, I think it ended up in the gravel. And the nice thing about the way they've designed Road America here over the years is they've got all of these little access points where you can just drive off, get the cars off in a safe spot. And we talked earlier about the EV people here that get out there and get the job done and get these cars out of the way so racing can continue. It's amazing how many times they can do that without it going full course. When they call for a full course here, there's a reason.
Oh, absolutely. Some areas you just can't get to safely. And if you look at it and what it would have done for Loshak's race here, it would have bunched it back up. And all that hard work on the opening laps on cold tires would have gone away. But looks like his car keeps getting better and better. He just had the fastest lap of the race of a 2:05. So he's really turning up the weight.
And again, that lap was 2 seconds faster than Farrell. So he's got it going. And Scully is the guy who's he almost was almost exactly on Farrell's time last time by, and looks like he may have been able to close that up just a bit here. We'll keep an eye on those times as they come up by start finish. Here comes Loshak putting lap number 3 in the books. 2:03.8 for Loshak. Wow, unbelievable speed. Here comes Farrell. Here comes Scully. and both of them at 206s. So Loshak loving the downforce right now.
Absolutely, and it could be indeed that he went with a little bit softer tires, so we'll have to keep an eye on those as it gets deeper in the laps, how his lap times are doing.
Fourth right now is Barfield. Once again, that's in the car that won the championship last year. He's having a good run. And then it is Jake Latham sitting in the fifth spot in that number 5. Absolutely beautiful car as well.
And Barfield really lit it up that lap. Just about same lap time or faster than our second place car, Farrell.
Meanwhile, the 36 of Tom Boots in the Boots Industries store into the pit lane, and he's got some issues. And you can see there's different wing configurations. All of these store chassis very similar, but some of the guys, the really fast guys, you notice there's no really an upper element to the wing that Loshak and Farrell are running on the back of their cars. It's a very, there's just a lip on the back of the car and then the lower element of the wing. Some of the other guys running that second wing that you'd run on a track where you would think you want more downforce, obviously. It's always trying to find that compromise here, the straights and the twisty bits of Road America.
Well, yeah, and it's really a drive. As a driver, you want to win, but you'd also kind of like that downforce too. Feel a heck of a lot more comfortable through the corners. And as an engineer, they keep saying, no, take that stuff off of there. But it looks like he's managing the balancing act well.
And that's the other thing. You'll see, when we watch some of the races, certainly when you get into some of the showroom stock classes, but even the prod stuff that we've seen and the like, a lot of them using the curbs, using those exit curves, not willing to get up on those gator teeth a little bit. These guys, there's only a few spots where they'll run up and over those curbs. One, because the cars are run so close to the ground that those gator teeth can really chew up the bottoms. But two, you get that car pogoing, you start spilling out some of that ground effects aero, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. It can really cause havoc if you're mid-corner and run all the way out of the front. The downforce these things create, both by the wings and the undertrays, it's just amazing.
Here's our battle for second, and Scully, that last lap by, Scully turned a lap that was a half a second quicker than Farrell, so he is closing in. Loshak, talk about consistency. On lap 3, he turned a 2:03.836. The last time by, he turned a 2:03.873. So, he is lapping within hundredths of a second. That is some consistent driving. Farrell at a 2:05.5 was his fastest lap last time by, but Scully uncorked a 2:04.8. And as you said, Barfield continuing to run very quick laps at a 2:05.5 as well. So this group here, this second, third, and fourth, running very similar times. But right now, Scully is just reeling Farrell in.
Yeah, and all the way through the field, you can see the times dropping. So those things, as they come on, tires coming up to temp and everything else, they're really pushing it. A couple guys down neck and stuff have dropped 2 seconds a lap, so they're all going after it.
Good battle here up into turn 6. Trying to see if that's, I think that might be the 85 of Dempsey, and he's having a good battle with Latham, the number 5, right up in front. These two going at it back and forth. So Latham and Dempsey, that's basically the battle for 5th we're looking at right now. And Dempsey had himself an interesting race here last year at the Runoffs, and would like to obviously be able to improve things just a little bit here. It was an exciting race for him, to be sure. And Latham right now leading the way as they work through the kink. That sound back there, absolutely no lift, no change. It's just absolutely flat chat. And believe me, folks, they are coming out of that carousel already going real fast.
Oh, and the camera work and the microphones don't do it justice. It is just amazing to see right there, eye level, to watch those cars go by. The speed that they carry is mind-boggling.
It's truly breathtaking. Until you've been there for a number of laps and they come through, every time they come through. As a worker, the first time I was back there with cars like this, every time through I'm reaching for the yellow. And then you go, no, that's just how they do it. So it's just that intense.
When you look at the wing packages and stuff, there's been an evolution. There's probably been 2 or 3 different aero packages this year that they've made changes on already. So it's constant evolution.
Yeah.
They're really pushing the envelope.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break, but we're going to set the stage here because it will be a quick one. And when we come back, things might be developing. Loshak actually into the 2:04. Oh, huge battling. Was that?
Scully.
Scully all over the back of Farrell. Boy, huge battle right now.
Boy, using lap traffic, he's a smart racer.
Yep.
And he's been reeling off the time, so this thing's really going to heat up.
Oh, and he got to run to the outside. Tough to do it here. That's where you're loving the downforce, and he decided the better of it as they come through. He's going to stay put with it right now. What I was going to say was Loshak's last lap was the first time he's been back up into the 204s from those 203s, while Farrell and Scully both dropping into the 204s. So things starting to compress just a little bit in terms of the times. And some of that might be that Farrell just simply had to pick the pace up because Scully has just been relentless for the last couple laps.
Oh, he's definitely turned it up, and Scully's not going to back off. I'm sure he's got a car that's going to go all the way to the finish. So he better be prepared to both of them driving the wheels off of it right now.
Through 14 once again to see who gets the exit. Boy, does Scully carry entry speed through that corner. Just literally slings it through there. That's confidence in that ground effects when you just pitch that car and just accept the fact that that's just going to hunker down and go for you.
Well, and coming from S2, we didn't have nearly as much downforce, so he's used to a little bit of sliding. So I think he's definitely getting every ounce of grip and every inch of track he's using to reel him in.
Yeah, you can see him. You can see him faint to the inside there just a little bit, and Farrell, having none of it, stayed out a little bit, and that got him out of turn 3 with a little bit bigger head of steam. And so Farrell continues to hang on, but Scully definitely in pursuit here as they head down through the Moraine sweep with Barfield and Dempsey completing your top 5 at this point. And since we do have a little bit of a gap in things here, we're going to step away, but we will be right back, so stay with us. This race is awfully good.
The 2010 SCCA National Championship Runoffs, presented by Subway, is brought to you by Mazda, Black Magic Car Care Products, and Gumout.
Forget the rock. Let's roll. Follow your inner driver to the all-new 2011 Mazda 2. It's Zoom Zoom. Concentrated.
Kid, where you been?
Just got back from an SCCA event.
Really?
Yeah, SCCA has more than 2,000 events every year.
Serious?
Go to SCCA.com and find people in your area that drive fast and get their hands dirty. And you don't have to be a supercar to compete.
So I go to SCCA.com, sign up, and I can start competing?
It's that easy.
We are back at Road America. D Sports Racing is under contest, and it has been a spectacular race. The battle for second in particular. There are other great battles unfolding as well. We had a quick look at the 82 of Botkin as he is working right now in the 7th spot. And here is that battle for second, and this time Scully has the run. He's in the inside, but not quite enough. And again, Farrell just sweeps the outside, and Scully realizing if I try and force this, it could get ugly, or at least will make us both very slow, and since I'm the one pinched to the inside, it might hurt me the most, and wisely just checked up. And sometimes you literally have to know when to just back off and fight another corner or two down the road.
Well, there's a lot of laps left, but he's definitely making Farrell use up his car, use up his tires. And Scully's a smart racer, and if you look at the lap times, they're actually reeling in Loshak just a very little bit. So I wonder if Loshak didn't go with a little bit softer tire and now is trying to conserve and not overheat him.
Well, he played the gambit right, though, didn't he? Because yeah, you're right. He's now running low 206s. Farrell and Scully are in the low 205s. But by the time that transition took, there's a 10-second margin between Loshak and Farrell. And Barfield, you just pointed to it here on the scoring monitor, he is up the ante.
Oh, wow. That car certainly is capable of winning a championship. It's shown that before, and it's really coming into its own right now.
Boy, now you watch Scully has dropped off just a little bit from Farrell. And again, we're getting these kind of weird conditions here in certain parts of the track. Like that shot, you look at the sky, it's pitch black over there, and it looks like it's going to be imminent. And in other parts of the track, it is nice and sunny.
The one consistent all the way around the track, though, is the wind is just howling. It's amazing. I would think maybe in the back section that we're going through right there, it's not going to be as bad, but then all of a sudden you pop right up.
That's the 64 has had a quick spin. If I'm reading that number correctly. Maybe it's the 04, actually, of Brian Lindstrand. Back in the order just a little bit. Yeah, honking wins, no question. It doesn't matter where you are, and it certainly makes things interesting. I just was watching Scully, his line through Canada Corner, he seems to carry so much speed through and exiting that turn. It's a good look here. I believe that's the it's Lee Alexander, the number 23. He and Botkin having a good scrap. These guys are just, they're in the top 10 at this point, so a good run for them to be sure. And the 64 has, in fact, that's Jim Hallman. It was 64 down there, and he has now come into pit lane. So he is parking for a minute. There's a good look. And the crew taking a look at the car.
And that might be, in fact, the windfall mount.
Yep.
All of a sudden you got a good gust after that. Well, there's Dick Colbert.
There's Colbert. You got a little bit of a parking lot over there.
Oh, that's
cars will stop. Yeah, that surely is.
I know his crew chief, Michael Rupert's been probably 3 or 4 time national champion. He's really getting that car moving.
Yeah, Mike Rupert was something else. And he had that very unique car that he designed, and that thing won awfully quick over the years. He knows this class. And Scully, once again, after having dropped off from Farrell just a little bit as they head down through turn 8, once again, all over the back of Farrell here. And it's going to be interesting, Bart. I'd really like you to watch, if we stay on the shot, through Canada Corner and just look at the speed that, to me, it looks like Scully carries in and through that corner relative to Farrell. And that might all start right here. Farrell looks good through the kink.
It's good through the kink look, too, through the carousel. So it might just be that one car is coming on a little bit better in different areas. We'll take a look. Definitely closes up under braking.
Right
the
there.
exit, he gets a shot.
Yeah, he gets out of that turn exceptionally well.
And obviously Farrell must be picking it up somewhere else on the track because their margin stays about the same.
Loshak, by the way, last time by turned a 206.4 to a 204 for Farrell, then a high 205. Loshak comes by this time, and a 205.5 for Lawrence Loshak. So
must be listening to us.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. A 204.6 for Farrell and a 204.9 for Scully. That margin, which was 10 seconds a couple of laps ago, is now down to just under 8. And we have, by my count, and there are states I'm not allowed to do math in, so don't trust that. But I've got 4 laps to go in this one at this point. They're thereabouts. So if Loshak, he's got that little bit of a margin to play with.
And he's a smart racer,
yeah.
too. He's going to manage that gap, and I'm sure his crew's on the radio letting him know. And he's probably got some spotters around the track, too. So, once you get a lead, there's been so many potential national champions that have driven off the track with a huge lead. And you need to back it off a little bit, be conservative, take your time passing some of these lap cars, make sure it's in a safe area. You need to throw it away on something cheap.
Traffic through the kink, always a heart in the throat moment. It's one of those beautiful Prince chassis, the number 24 of Cutter. Very different look to what's being done from Storr and West in terms of the chassis department, but also very aero effective, to be sure. There's a look at Loshak through the kink. And it's impressing me, if this was by design here, if they said we're going to run a soft tire with a bit more downforce, we're just going to hammer this thing right from the start, build up a margin, and if those guys then come good a little bit later on, have some room to play with, boy, that is a really impressive piece of strategy and designed by the crew and then execution by the driver.
Well, and
if that's the plan.
If that's the plan. It's just us speculating in here. But
right.
You start looking at the race as a whole and overall lap times and how long it's going to take you to finish this race. It's a very good strategy. I'd rather be really strong at the end, but I guess with a 9-second lead, you can have a certain comfort margin there.
Right, and the fact of the matter is like you said, even if his tires go off a little bit, if he does have a little bit more aero into the car, a little bit more downforce, you've got a comfortable car, more so as those tires start to go off a little bit. So maybe that was the whole concept. Now we're going to get some traffic that could well play into things here. It's Farrell coming up, and he's got Scully right behind him, but it looks as though it might work out nicely that Farrell was going to catch the guy and actually be able to get a little toe off him and not lose anything to Scully. And now it's just a matter of picking the right side, because this Moraine sweep, it does have its little bits and bends right and left. Here they come. He's got, Farrell is through. Scully gets through, but he got pinched. That means he might be slow coming out of 5, but not
he
so
got
much.
a good run.
Man,
Amazing.
he might even try a pass up into 6 and decides at the last second better. So that tells me that Farrell maybe ran it just a little bit hot down into 5 and scrubbed off a little bit. Scully was able to get it planted, turned a little bit better. Again, just speculating. It's tough to tell on these cars when these guys, ooh, Scully. Well, now you know. Are they driving hard? You bet. Absolutely hanging the tail out. But sometimes it's tough to tell on these cars if they made a mistake or not. With all that ground effects, the car just plants wherever you put it. Oh, this could be interesting. Coming up on Dowling, excuse me. Through the King. Oh, they got parked. Absolutely got parked. Let's see. Here comes Loshak. He's through clear. What's going to happen in this mix? Here we go. Who did what? And it is still Farrell. Scully takes the attack down into Canada corner, but could not get it done. And somehow they both got by Dowling, and neither one of them, the position didn't change. But boy, talk about that was that hard to throw moment I was talking about. Traffic.
Well, there's just, you can't take it easy there, especially when you're in a battle. And now with laps winding down, there's really a sense of urgency that Scully needs to stay on him. And if you look at the lap time, Scully's actually turned the fastest lap of the race, that previous lap.
Yeah, he sure did. Wow, what a great lap, too. That time, both of them were balked in traffic, and look at the chunk of time it cost them. Loshak now running mid-206s, but because of that traffic, so did Farrell and Scully, and Loshak's going, thank you. That's always nice. You have a little help.
Back up to 11-second gap, so he's got the race well in hand.
Actually, it's a 6-second gap. The 11's the lap count. So they've just completed the 11th lap. So, we're just getting confirmation from the folks at Timing and Scoring. Next time by, Loshak will get the signal. One more lap to go here. Scully third. Barfield. You know what? While we've been watching everything up front, Barfield has just been consistently clocking off some really impressive laps. And it's just unfortunate he's dropped off a little bit. If he had a little bit more time in this could very soon be a 3-car battle for the silver medal.
Yeah, he's done a great job, and I'm all for just letting him put new tires on and fueling these things up and sending them back out.
I like that idea.
What a race.
Yeah, this has been fantastic. And again, Scully all over the back of Farrell, down through from 6 to 8, and the first half of the carousel, Scully seems to be quicker, and then Farrell through that second half of the carousel and through the King, it just seems to really fall his way once again. More traffic. Yeah, boy, and there's 2 cars that they're going to catch. Loshak already through. Here we go. Farrell's in between them. Scully, big evasive. That other car, I'm not sure. Did he get through clean? See when that shot opens up. Oh, he got absolutely balked.
Oh.
Yep, the other car. And to that car's defense, Scully came from a long way back trying to force the issue there. That time he was having none of it. Scully had just said, I'm through. Doesn't matter.
Well, and a lot of the times, too, is you'll see the passing flag, and you'll assume one car, and you'll forget that there might be a train of them coming through. So hopefully you can reel them in on this back.
Absolutely.
Last lap.
Well, Loshak he jumps back down to a 205, and a low 205, and he did it in traffic. Farrell at a 204.8, Scully at 205.2 because of that little balk. That tells you, that one little moment, one corner, and he lost a half a second at this point. And Loshak responded a little bit. I think Loshak's driving the gap right now, and I think he's doing a pretty good job of it.
Very, very smart race.
Yeah, no question. So Scully has to absolutely come up with a miracle here right now. Loshak through turn 5, working his way up into turn 6. And as we said, he's going to potentially, I hate to say it early here, but if he
don't say it.
If he hangs on, I'm not going to say he's done it. If he hangs on, he'll earn that second national championship after, as we pointed out, he got that E-Production title a few years ago. And this has been a long time coming for him. Like I said, they made the step to this car, and they started it back when the runoffs were in Topeka. And they've had their little issues. just trying to sort through the little problems in this car, and a lot of it was that engine package, the reliability of these cars, just because of the loads and the stress that are put on them, the way these things run.
Well, pretty amazing, too. He wasn't getting the answers he was looking for, so actually tore it into it himself, and he's got a couple guys that are really strong engineers working with him, and they dove into it and came up with a solution for it.
You want it done right, do it yourself, and boy, not only has has the engineering package under his guidance and certainly motivation, been a successful program, but he's gotten the job done behind the wheel. One more corner, and then the climb up this long Road America straight. Lawrence Loshak out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, his home track. I think this is going to be a major celebration. Loshak over the top of the hill, the double checkers fly, and Lowe, as they call him, has won it. He is a gold medalist in C Sports Racing, and look at that, the double fist pump. Fantastic. Farrell hangs on for the silver over Scully. The margin there under a second between second and third. Barfield comes through with a great drive to fourth, and Dempsey, a good race from eighth up into fifth, as he was able to deal with Latham late in the going. But Lawrence Loshak has done it, and I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people here, this being his home track, a lot of fans, and a lot of the competitors in the paddock that know what this means to Lawrence and are from the area here. This is going to be a very popular win.
Oh, absolutely, and congratulations to him and his team. Looking down the timing here, Scully actually, seems like traffic might have robbed him of a second place. Not that Farrell didn't drive an absolutely spectacular race, but a couple breaks there, and I think he would have been there. But congratulations to everyone in the race. Very, very nice.
Look at Loshak's already out of the car.
Actually, I think he's standing in the seat. He's only about 4 feet tall.
He's floating on air is what he's doing right now.
Oh, okay. Levitating.
That's right. Well,
Loshak the levitator. I like it.
The thrill of victory. That's it. If he ever gets into off-road racing, it's Lawrence the levitator Loshak. Okay.
I still like that he's standing in the seat.
I like that too. What a great day for Lawrence. He is savoring this moment to be. Look at him just pounding on the side of that car, just elated with it. Good look at the entire field. Farrell and Scully, no question about it. That was the battle of the race. Loshak drove beautifully, but those two put on the show here for the crowd in many ways, and it was a good one.
Oh yeah, and just absolutely beautiful cars. Some of the prettiest cars you're going to see this week, and extremely fast, and it was a great race to watch.
Clearly, it was all the time in the Sports 2s that gave Scully that amazing ability to deal with the car in cold conditions and low grip scenarios and everything today, huh?
Yeah, maybe hoping he'd walk over and give us a couple pointers for tomorrow afternoon's race.
There you go.
He did a great job.
Yeah, he truly did. And whole field did. I mean, they just completed the national championships. And even though they may not have won or gotten a medal, nonetheless, they got invited. And that is something in and of itself. And to finish, look at this. I just love this picture. Both hands in the air.
But the car drives itself.
Yeah.
Maybe the crew is in there driving it remotely.
Maybe that's it. Maybe it's remote. Actually, I heard him revving it, I think, when he gets to all the places where the crowd is. Loving this moment. And I tell you what, we talked about it at the very top of the show. That margin, 29 one-thousandths of a second between Farrell on pole and then Gummout pole and Lawrence Loshak. And Loshak reading the conditions and maybe, being local here, just had a little bit better feel in a way for the weather and what that car might really like to be able to go use. And you, as we said before, you use every tool in the kit, when you get ready to go racing, particularly for a national championship.
Oh, absolutely. You've got to use everything you have available, and he certainly has put it together. Struggled a lot during the year with motors. He's been able to really put a solid one together.
Well, and it's got to be doubly sweet in a way because, here you are, basically, as you pointed out, ending up doing a lot of this program yourself with your team and some people helping you. And you've just not only beaten, the car manufacturer's car, if you will, but one of the primary development drivers for that. And you've gone out and beaten them for a national championship. That's got to feel awfully good. So, speaking of which, let's take a look as we head down. John Bizignano is down there for our Mobile One Winners interview. And Biz, I'd give yourself some room because he's a happy camper.
Hey,
everything's flailing.
Good to see you, Lawrence. Congratulations, buddy. A gold medal. I'll tell you, when you were pulling away, you were going 2 seconds a lap faster than the competition. Where did you find that speed?
Well, my crew, my fabulous crew, Moon Supercycle, he debuted his engines with me this weekend. I mean, the support of the family, just having an amazing crew. God, I can't say enough. The car was just hooked up all week. We were running a little rich on the first qualifier, but we've been fast all week. Chris got us by 2900ths for the pole, made for an exciting start, but, I just knew we had the car with the grip. I knew some guys trimmed out a lot of wing to get speed. We stayed with the stable downforce platform so I could attack, and it just worked out. It worked out. Everything was just great. The Goodyear tires, Greg Moon's motor. It's just amazing. Amazing. Feels great to be here again.
Well, let's ask you about the tires. In the booth, they were wondering, were you on a very soft compound, and maybe the reason that they caught up to you a little bit towards the end was one that you were letting off, or maybe because the tires were going away for a little bit?
No, actually, I'm using same old 160 Goodyears that I've always used. Goodyear's been taking care of me for years, from E-Production. Always taking care of me. I just, my crew was showing me that I had a big lead. These babies are time bombs. Every lap, you're lucky to complete every lap. So I just decided to back out of it, forget about, the track record. I don't know if we got that or not, but, just started conserving, short shifting, and just bring her home. We wanted the gold. My crew worked so hard. I can't tell you how many sleepless nights we had. So they worked hard, so I had to work hard on the track for them.
Congratulations. Here comes your gold medal right now. Bonnie's going to congratulate you again. What a great drive. He's not giving it back. Well, back to our second place finisher, the gentleman who actually was on pole position. And I tell you, Chris, we were talking before the race. Did you have any problem? You had a mystery misfire the beginning half of the week. Were you happy with the way the car was running, or was there anything off?
No, the car was running pretty good. The Georgetown motor and the store car were running real well. I think I may have underestimated the wind a little bit, may have needed to step on the gear one, as Lawrence just ate me alive on the straights and didn't have anything for him. He drove a great race, and his car was a missile, and mine was a little sluggish down the straights. I think it just had too tall a gear for these huge winds, but like I said, the store car ran good. Redline oil, Sunoco fuel, Hoosier tires, everything worked great. I can't complain. Did the best I could.
We also had a car that was filling your side view mirrors for the entire race. That had to be fun.
Yeah, I've driven with Michael a few times, and Michael's a great driver, and he's a lot of fun, and he's a very clean driver, so I know that even with him in my mirrors, I knew he wouldn't drill me. So we had a good race. It was very interesting. He was faster than me through a little bit of the tight stuff, and I kind of pull away through the carousel on the kink, and yeah, we had a good race, and I tried not to look at him because then I'd usually kind of mess myself up and go off the track or something.
Congratulations on a great silver medal. Well, let's go back and check with Michael, watching his wonderful drive today. Michael, watching you from the TV, it seemed like you could really pull up close to him in the first half of the track, but once he was past the carousel, he was able to get away from you. What was up with that?
Well, we're running a lot more downforce than anybody else here. We've worked a lot with Dauntless and myself to collaborate on a aerodynamic package, which is a lot more downforce, but for similar drag. So in the twisty bits, we could really close up, and it was just I was trying to be maybe a little too patient in the twisty bits, and then Chris and I were about equal in the fast stuff, and it kind of, I would have had to do something maybe a little rude to get past him, but I think we ran the fastest lap despite that. But yeah, maybe should have been a little tougher about it.
Well, you'll have to wait a few months to get tougher on that one. Congratulations on a great bronze medal. I'll tell you, once again, guys, these are very sophisticated cars. Aerodynamics was absolutely important, especially in these very windy conditions. Back to you guys.
Yeah, absolutely, Biz, and I like that. I would have had to have done something a little rude, and he opted not to do that, and that's a good thing. And there is Lawrence Loshak back in the car, now with that flag, and, yeah, we may have to go into a time delay here. Burning it up, why not? Those Goodyears, they got you to the winner's circle and a gold medal around your neck. Go ahead, beat on them a little bit and have some fun. He certainly has earned it, and this one's special. And if ever there was evidence that a good driver can drive anything, And you think about it, I talked about he started, he did a lot of ice car racing. Then he went to prod cars, but a front drive prod car, unique package, won there. Gets the right package put together here, and he wins. If you've got the gift, you can get it done in about anything, and it's great to see this happen because it shows, again, I think this is a great advertisement in a way for SCCA as well, because the variety of classes, if you run in one for a few years and you decide, I want to try something else, if you're good, you can excel.
Oh, yeah, and he didn't move down a class either. This is probably one of the most competitive classes out there, and I would love to see a chart of how many hours they've got into this win, but it's got to be amazing. And great driver, great package, and really it's putting it all together. Like he said himself, they're time bombs, and he was just buying his time.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the thing about a car, as we're going to wrap things up here, when you move from a car like a prod car, where it's all mechanical grip for the most part, to a car that is massive ground effects level downforce, not only do you have to have the skill, but you've got to have an immense amount of commitment. You've got to have an immense amount of feel as well, because you've got to go well past what your mind is initially telling you is a sane place to brake, because you've got all that false grip, if you will, and you've got to really be able to just will yourself through that stuff. This is a pretty special achievement.
Oh, absolutely. And usually pride and ego really help you push that braking zone, too.
yeah, that's true. The ribbing you're going to get when you get back into the pits and the crew if you don't get the job done, for sure. Well, and as he said, his crew did the job before the race. He had to do the job for them in the race, and he did. And look at him going, it's done. I am national champion. This team is a national champion. Congratulations to Lawrence Loshak. I think we're going to get another nice burnout here, folks. So as we watch that,
out of gas.
Or that maybe that's what it was. Maybe he said, I'm out of gas. He did. I bet that's it. It's done. So Lawrence Loshak is a national champion. Look at that. We told you that'd be a popular win. He's been racing in this division. That's Bob Newberg, one of the great corner workers, previous worker of the year out there. And this is all of the fans and the corner workers and the volunteers that have been watching Lawrence in this area race for a lot of years. This one's a pretty good one. I think you're absolutely right. I think he just ran her right out of fuel.
Well, they definitely had it calculated down to the last couple miles.
Well, if paint weighs, fuel weighs. So obviously that's where we sit. So as we watch our national champion, who's going to get a little more time to mull this over and celebrate with some friends out on the track, we're going to wrap things up here from E-Production, from E-Production and D-Sports Racing, the two races that Bart and I are doing today. Things are going to finish up once again for the Showroom Stock C in the Formula F category. Once again, Jim Trado and Dorsey Schrader will be climbing behind the mics here in the booth. John Bizignano will stay and be a busy man down in pit lane. It's been a great first day for us, Bart. It's been a pleasure to work with you. Welcome to the booth, my friend. I've enjoyed it immensely, and I'm looking forward to a good day of racing tomorrow, including watching you go out in Sports 2000 yourself and see what you can do. So thanks so much.
All right, thanks for having me.
All right, folks, we're going to step away for a minute here. Once again, when we come back, it'll be Jim Trado and Dorsey Schrader taking you to the end of the day with two more great races here in this 47th annual running of the SCCA National Championships presented by Subway.
The 2010 SCCA National Championship Runoffs, presented by Subway, is brought to you by Mazda, Black Magic Car Care Products, and Gumout.
Forget the rock. Let's roll. Follow your inner driver to the all-new 2011 Mazda 2. It's Zoom Zoom. Concentrated.
Kid, where you been?
Just got back from an SCCA event.
Really?
Yeah, SCCA has more than 2,000 events every year.
Serious?
Go to SCCA.com and find people in your area that drive fast and get their hands dirty. And you don't have to be a supercar to compete.
So I go to SCCA.com, sign up, and I can start competing?
It's that easy.